Okay. All right. Hello, I'm RG. Here at RG, I'm going to keep on trying to do this here. Welcome to RG's Studios PromoCon number 2. Trying to get this mapped out, structured, so we have something to offer. I got a lot of stuff going on at the studio, and I've been thinking that I'm going to try to get all of this stuff that I'm going to evolve and merge into a significant concept. I sell comic books. I got studio collectibles. I like to talk about film and cinema and internet art films. That's the stuff that I like to do at the studio. And it's what I do on my spare time, to tell you the truth, until I retire, and then eventually got me a mic here. I bought it some time ago, and we're going to see if it is working properly. Yeah. So I'm just basically testing everything, all this stuff here I got with the RG Studio PromoCon. The first few that comes out, live streaming the way it is my first take at this. Normally I put something like this together and I go to the editing room and I slice everything up. Voila! There we go. Never did live stuff too much before. But anyway, let us begin. I got me some notes here. This is basically my structure. You know, I like to freewheel a lot, as you notice. I like to improvise. It's my thing, you know. Hold on a minute. Hang tight. I gotta go get me something to drink from my throat here. All right. Welcome back to RG Studios PromoCon. I got some comic books that I want to let you check out, graded comic books and some that are not graded, that are going to be selling on my eBay site. The eBay site is called RG Studios Collectibles. You go to eBay. If that's too difficult, just type in at eBay's search engine, internet art films. Voila! I like to grade my comic books. You know, the last episode I told you, I like to smell my comic books too. You know, some of them, you know, not all of them, but some of them, like the golden age. I grade my comic books right here. This is like a list. Most comic book collectors understand the grading synopsis or description, spine damage. These things are important to a collector because when they're collecting, sometimes they collect the books specifically so they can fill a gap in their collection. Story-wise, that was in it. They read about it elsewhere, and they want to read it for themselves. You know, loose pages, extra staples, old books. Some old books have a lot of extra staples in it. And I know some collectors or people who begin collecting will say, "Oh, why did they staple them?" Because they weren't trying to lose any of the loose pages when they had it. I know this may be agitation for some people. It may bother them when they hands on the book edges and it hits their fingers. But real collectors out there, when they collect a comic book, it don't make no difference how old and beat up and destroyed the book is. They'll pay whatever the hell they want to pay for it because they want it. If you ever collected and wanted to possess something, price has no meaning. It's because I want it. I'll pay what I want. This particular one is called There's nothing special about it, but I don't know. I never read this particular issue. It's a CGC grade 5.5. Slab is in fine condition, is what I said. Like ones that are graded like this here, like this, I don't grade them on my description list because, first of all, it's been graded by a professional grader. Now, mind you, there's CGC, PGX, and there's a third one. There's two more. Can't think of their names. They're acronyms. But anyway, most collectors know what I'm talking about when I specifically say CGC, PGX, and the other two acronyms I can't think of. They know. I don't have to spell it out to them. But this one here is Stanley Lee's mediocre heroes. They made Netflix made a series out of it. Ben Affleck made a movie. Don't blame him for the movie being terrible. He's a good actor. What I think about Ben Affleck being the Batman when it was first announced. My answer to them was this: it depends on the director on this one. His acting goes both ways, like this here. He can now, if he was maybe perhaps like, oh, it's gonna be good. But his acting is like this here. If you're a good director, let's say this way, it's going to be good. Now, I really like him in the Batman persona. When him and Henry Cavill did Batman vs. Superman. Silly story, but it was a persona-wise portrayed rather good. If you ever read the guy that made the Dark Knight comic books, I can't think of his name. I'm probably gonna get screamed at for this one. He's in my mind. The guy brought the name The Dark Knight to its bearing. Batman always had that title, but during the 80s, when the Batman was headed toward kind of a downsloping story-wise, the artist who brought him out of that and created the old age Batman 62, maybe 71, somewhere around that age, and he's old, beat up, has no business fighting crime. He has an iron suit that looks something like that, something that came from Iron Man's first comic book. But anyway, make a long story short, that's what Ben Affleck's persona was basically based around. The whole concept of the movie. Now, that's just like I said, one of the I love them. I love comic books. I'm a collector, and it makes money for my studio. Now, I used to do a show called Grassroots Comics and Collectibles. It has now merged into this right here called RG Studios PromoCon. I've merged it all into. I've been trying to get all this stuff that I'm doing And now in business and corporate world, they say, well, we're merging, we're diversifying, we're splitting it up. And so I'm merging right now. So I'm merging all this. it's, it's goddamn great. I like it. All right, here we go. Famous funnies. You know, I'm not too big on funny books, as my grandmother used to call them. Way before Superman ever came out in Action Comics, funny books and funny strips was always common. People say, "Oh, the first comic book was Action Comics." Oh, bullshit. There was the ones called the funny books. It's called Platinum Age. Oh, yeah, you see, I'm a real collector. I know what I'm talking about. Platinum Age books were like before 1939. Let's say between 19 late 20s. Okay, this one here, CGC, grade 6.0. The case is fine and solid. I value this comic book at $350. Real pretty universal slab. I like it. This is what it is. It has good color to it. Nice and fine, as you can see. I'm not too big on funny books, but I love art. And this is fantastic art. Everything drawn from here is the mid 30s. You can tell by looking at it. By the way, they got the kids. Take a good look at it. And here's one thing you might want to take a look at too. Look at the structure of this page. Got a fat guy holding a chicken, and you got some kids running behind it. Take a good look. They're hungry. 1930s, 1920s, Great Depression. It's art. May not feel comfortable, but it's art. My grandmother can tell me some time to this. She would have looked at this and she would have said, first of all, I remember the book. Is what she would have said. And second is that it reflects a slightly different view of the times. Hungry. Some of them were probably almost starving to death because of the Great Depression. And a lot of people that worked in this funny book business was making dimes compared to what we do today just to survive. This kind of may not have pleased people today, but trust me, peoples, it's a reflection of the times, and it's art. And it's beautiful art too. I like it. I put it on my wall. See these comic books behind me? It's art. Those are my Rembrandts. Love it. It's gonna sell top dollar. Trust me. $15 in. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time burning up talking about comic books, but this is great. I love it. It's great. Here we got Detective Comics, number 54. Grant used only one page here in a slab. CGC slab, graded PG. The slab itself is solid, case, and fine. I value it at $270. Batman is, as we know, is a well-known comic book character. Lots of people identify, or I should say like this better yet, they like the character. I wouldn't say they identify with it a lot, but they do like it. And trust me, Detective with this, other than being Batman, why would one page be valued so much? We can get the whole damn book. Well, it's fantastic. Look at that. That was the days of Bob Kane and Bill Finger. Beautiful art. This collector who had this at some point before they put it in slab, like I said before with the staples, they were trying to preserve, but it happened. It's beautiful. Look at it. You can find this on sale on eBay at RG's RG Studios Collectible. I think that's what. Let me check that for sure. Hold still there for a minute. I was checking out the name. Had to switch pages. You didn't notice it, of course. It is RG Studios Collectibles on eBay. Check it out. You can see these comic books for sale in the next week or so. Not on there right now, but within 7 days, I have to buy it for $200. I just say it's valued at that. I hope it's pretty high. Oh, here's a good one. Ooh, I know there is some fans of this one here. I remember they made a movie of this one too. Swamp Thing, number 3. Ooh. Somebody out there has number 1 and number 2, and they're missing number 3. This is where you can get it. Yes. Grade CGC 8.5. You won't find a better grade. Beautiful. I dare you to go to the auctions and get this one. I dare you. Book value $485. I guarantee you'll be able to get this for less. Oh, that's a beautiful book. Good God, look at that. Oh my God. Oh yes, I'll keep this myself. Put it on the wall somewhere. That's what I'll do. But I'm going to let it go. An auction. You can pick it up. I better go for 180. And if you think so too, you better go there and get it. Sure. There. The backside of it, beautiful. Look at white gloss. Look at that. Beautiful gloss on this book. Look at there. Look at that. Again, give you this here. Look at that beautiful book. My God. Look at that. Solid casing. Beautiful. Yes. Outside of my own fingerprints on here, this thing is clear as a bell. Clear as a window, I should say. Oh, yeah. This is beautiful here. This is a grade now. Look at that, 8.5. You will not find someone practically letting this go. For 180, auction will start at $1. Will last 10 days. Oh, I guarantee you there'll be 2 or 3 people coming for this one. So you better be ready to fight for it. But I bet it won't go past 180. It's value. Almost a half a grand. And most people will probably want $1,800 for it. Right off the top. Oh no. $1,800. Oh, you don't get back. Okay, here we go. Tell me, you think I'm joking, do you? I'm not joking. I'm a comic book fan. I love comic books. I showed you this one. That slab is what's considered a fair comic book. Matter of fact, let me give you the description of this one. Set this one down. Description. We'll read off real quick. Page count 36. It's worn, rough, tears, and its cover is still attached. That's very important. It is low grade / fair. Valued at $25. Very. Ooh-wee. Yeah, buddy. Just got a charge off of that one. Mm-hmm. Yes. Very good color. I like that. I like the art in Dick Tracy books. Let me do you a shot of that. Nothing like it. Back in the 30s, late mid 40s, I would say. Look at that. That's the criminal right there. With draw all these characters. Love it. Okay. Where are we at now? Let's see. Okay, it's easy to get the books from over here because none of these are slab. Conan the Barbarian. I like Conan. You know, speaking of Conan, the ones who have the vested interest in Conan should go ahead and get on it while they can and make King Conan and get this shit over with. The movie is not going to make probably 300 or 400 million at the box office, but you probably can make an easy 185 million. Set a budget around maybe 25 million, 20 million, and go make this damn movie. You know, Arnold's getting old. He's well past prime, and I'm sure he'll probably can come in about 6, 7 million. You know, you take that money. I'm sure he will. He'll probably love to just be in the last Conan. Make it happen. You know. Okay, Conan the Barbarian. 36 pages, worn, rough, cover attached, flat, smooth, good cover, some gloss, value, $16. Not as powerful as Dick Tracy, but still a good book. Oh, our favorite one here. Our favorite Cape Crusader. I say yes. What is it about the Batman that everyone likes? He is a vigilante, taking matters into his own hands, and he's rich. Anyway, here we go. Fair, good, worn, rough, spine damage, cover, attached, good cover, flat and smooth. Valued $18. Since Batman is a well-known character, been around for 70 years, the issue numbers are high. This one's just late 70s, almost early 80s. We got 274 is where the number is on this one issue. Well before he gets to the 400 or 500 that he eventually ended up going to. Past 600, I believe last I saw was past 600. These is at this point in time in history, this one would be considered a collector's item. Oh, now we have his so-called friend, the Man of Steel. Action Comics. Now, we know Action Comics started in 1939. This one is mid-70s. 303 is the number. Ooh, it eventually went past 1,000. Fair grade. Some soil. Cover attached. Spine damage. Worn. Value $18. Now, this comic book here, it's old enough. Yes. It has an appearance of the Batman. The Batman. Okay. Crazy about Batman, I tell you. It's crazy about Batman. Here's another funny book. This is one of those old mothers and grandmothers would say stuff like Palooka. Or you just like old Joe. Stuff like that. People are like, what are you talking about? When you talk about a funny book, it's technically a funny book. He's not a superhero, just versus the other one I didn't care much for. This one I like better because of mostly because the art in it. Look how it's drawn at the time. There's such style there, you know, colorful. And it's old. It says it's a golden age. Oh, yeah. Here we got Joe Palooka, number 80. Worn, rough, spine damage, cover attached. Nice comic art. Value, $20. It's flat, writing on cover, and I say that it's fair good. It means that it has some good structure here. The book is smooth. There's some soil on the cover and on the back. But if not more into the superhero stuff, but partial to funny books. It depends on the funny books. And those books will be on my eBay site, RG's Studios collectible. Bid. Go there, bid on something. Try to get your hands on it. If you're a collector, this is the place to come to get it. And I'll be doing a lot of RG Studios, PromoCon, which is now merged with Grassroots Comics and Collectibles. So you can just say, he's back. Selling the comic books, putting it there in your face. We're also talking about internet art films and movies. Right now, we're going to go to, let me mark some stuff off. Stay with structure. No, you're not going to get it. Okay, here you go. I got studio collectibles, too, that were in the internet art films. I have none right at this very desk to show you. They're in the back closet, all stretched up. That little mask right there is one of them. I can probably give you a swing around, let you see some stuff, but let's just take my word for it. I have studio collectible stuff, action figures. I have costumes that were created. Some were not created. They were refurbished for certain films, certain scenes, certain whatever nots for the internet art films that I will be putting on auction, along with the comic books that you just saw. So go to eBay, type in either internet art films or RG Studio Collectibles, and it'll pop you right there to one of my things that I'm selling on my site in general. And for God's sakes, make a bid. Keep the studio lights on, man. Yes, help us out here. And if those of you out there are familiar with the word Patreon, I have a Patreon account. You can go there and become a patron. I give away free stuff all the time on my Patreon account. If you are a patron, I will give away stuff to you. Like I'll get a whole bunch of comic books like this here that I'm not. I got tons of comic books. Good God. I got a room full of them. Cluttering up the studio. So what I do is I put together a little package for the Patreon guy. You pay like $1 a month. And when I get around to it, I put the stuff that I'm not going to sell. I know I'm not going to put it on auction. Pack it up. And it's gone your way. You can get you some Golden Age, Silver Age, Modern and Copper and Bronze Age comic books for $1. I send usually a minimum of 6 books to you. Value between $20 and $100. It's up to you. Believe it or not. Situation. Put it that way. All right. Film and cinema topics. I was treading on this yesterday, but a lot of you don't understand how or even know that blockbusters, when they say blockbuster movies, there was a moment there weren't no such thing. Let's say 1969, even though they were popular era, 60s, it wasn't a blockbuster. Why? Because, believe it or not, and listen well, the film Billy Jack, I believe it was around 1970, come out. The guy that played the part, I think his name was Tom London or something of this name, something of this fashion. Tom, I could be missing his last name, but I know, I've seen the face, I know the name, I read it. He was an actor that played the part, plus he was the producer and the writer of Billy Jack. Movie studios at that time in the early 70s was, and before then, was releasing films 300 or 400 screens. You rarely see a movie that go past 500 screens. Billy, the guy, I'm just going to call him Billy Jack. Billy Jack decided to distribute his own independent film. The movie studios were having trouble at this time because there was a cull of going on at the time. coming off the onslaught of what was known as New Hollywood, new people who was creating independent films, but yet wasn't getting as rich as they would have liked. And corporations had taken over the studios and the old moguls had, all, I think one of them was still alive, but most of them were dead or ill and were out of the business, as we would call it. But the name of business, they were releasing films, 500 screens. Billy Jack come out. He did his own distributing. He called together 1,000 screens, printed up the prints, put them in the theaters. What did we get? We got a blockbuster. Oh yeah, that's right. That was before Star Wars. That was before Jaws. That was before the college calling of filmmakers, of independent filmmakers. Martin Scorsese, George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, Brian De Palma. What other names there? All of them. All of them that were still virtually young and just getting out of school, and some of them working for major studios. Stanley Kubrick, you name them, all of them. This guy outdid them all, and every studio in the industry started releasing films above the number of 800 screens. Today, on an average, if it wasn't for the pandemic, 4,000 screens. They kept working it. Blockbusters. Yeah, because the movie studios wasn't making that much money before the 1,000 screens. The 1,000 screens made Billy Jack a hit, a phenomenal hit, unheard of, never credited today as we know it. Everybody thinks of blockbusters. They want to talk about Jaws and Star Wars. Bullshit. Billy Jack beat them all. Oh, they may not made the money that they made, but hell, by that time, it was 5 years down the line. Then you get Jaws. Then you get Star Wars. We're talking 1970, maybe 71. Billy Jack wasn't paid at all. Taking that left foot, kicking somebody in the mouth, knocking their teeth out. Barefoot. That's why it made a lot of money. It was coming off the heels of New Hollywood, independent filmmaking, challenging the industry as we know it. And they were turning their nose up at it until they seen the dollar signs. And oh yeah, now they start doing this, replicating the lightning in the bottle. Yeah. That's film and cinema for you today. Now, internet art films. What do we have in internet art film? We have a middle, beginning, and end. Watch an episode of Star Trek and take out all the commercials. And what do you have? You have a 40-minute, couple that with using special effects that are not high-end, that are creative. Star Trek was like that. They had a limited budget, and they were doing their best. They were very creative. It became a cult sensation. Internet art films, I like the concept of don't keep nobody. When in the early parts of history of filmmaking, they used to do that. They used to make films that were, don't keep them in their seats too long. Because why? Because lots of individuals didn't have that. And the stories were probably not that great. And nobody wanted to be sitting there wiggling. Woo, ready to go, good God. It's over. You know, they used to do that. Then it turned into, they call those short films, you know. But that's the thing. When you're making art, you're probably going to upset some people, and, you know, you're going to unnerve them a little, probably, because you're not tap dancing like the major industry does for money. And that's what they do. They put up these things, and now they've gotten so jaded, and they made the audience so jaded. Every time something comes out, first thing they get is criticism. regardless how they try, it's criticism. I went to Star Wars, the first one, well, not the first one, but I'm talking about the last of the trilogy, Force Awakens. I said 2.5 hours, and I got about what? I got what? Maybe 1 minute of Luke with no dialogue. That was his scene right there. And then it backs up and get a big wide view of some mountains that look like it's in Ireland. I said, now, wait a minute. I told my brother we're not coming to see the next one. I didn't even waste my time. I already knew this was a floozy ticket being sold. I knew. I said, okay. And I didn't like the story. I said, this is a rehash of Luke. And the girl ain't powerful. How does she even know who the hell she is? At least in Star Wars, Luke had no clue. He was learning, and we were learning along with him. They didn't do that, and this girl just jumped up there and started doing shit, and we sitting there going, okay, I'm the most powerful Jedi in the world. Oh, really? So everything I've watched before was bullshit. Okay. I was done with the series right then, and I didn't go back to see the next two. Those that went to see it, the next ones, they were fooling. They were lying to themselves. Now they probably wish they just left the movies alone. I didn't go see them, and I still to this day haven't seen the last two at all, other than the trailers that come on the website, and I click past them. Whoop, nope, don't want to see that because I already knew. I got my dick yanked. You see, with the first one. Oh yeah, you just jacked me off on that one. Okay, all right, thanks a lot. Now, kind of structured this one together, the RG Studio promo con, to give you to set this up. And who's my favorite? Oh, I'm seeing some reading here. Let me see. Who's my favorite director? Oh my God, I got favorite directors. Thoughts on the Han Solo movie? Let me tell you what I think about. Let me answer both of those. My favorite director, I have to say, Alfred Hitchcock. I like his style. I like the way that he made North by Northwest. I remember seeing that. I was probably around 10 at the time. And I wasn't big on drama. I had to have action, cowboy, boom, boom. And I'm sitting there watching this movie, and I'm watching Cary Grant. At the time, I didn't know who this gentleman was, and so I saw him as an old man running from an airplane, but it was interesting. And why I say Alfred Hitchcock, he could take the most simplest. I said, wow, and that stuck with me, And when I began to study movies, I ran across a lot of Alfred Hitchcock's work in the library, and I noticed there's a film that he made that they don't talk about much. He was very creative, and he was very he wanted to do, and he wasn't like the type that would be always in the editing room, but for this particular film, he wanted to step back and be the editor, and he wanted to shoot the film in the whole film in like one whole take, move the camera around. And what was this film's name? I can't think of it at the moment, but it was a 1950s film with Jimmy Stewart, a whole bunch of other actors at that time. And here it is in my mind, called Rope. It was a drama. No editing slices. No typical edit. I think maybe one or two whenever you needed to put a scene together. Most films, his thing was scenes had a tendency to jump frames all the time. So what if he did a shot with people talking in a room, And sometimes they're talking over someone. Someone's talking over here, talking over, and the camera is moving like this. Never seen it. They ever got any patience? Check it out. It's good. What do I think of the Han Solo movie? It could have been good if they would have, if the corporates would have quit tinkering with it. They had no business really making a Han Solo movie because the character's mystery was what made him interesting. When you explain all of that, it's not interesting no more. You have to have some very good writing. Additional people who are going to do this would have brought something totally different. Again, there's that moment where they wasn't tap dancing for the audience. They were going to bring some stuff in there and make it interesting. I think from what I heard about it, it would have been interesting from this point of view if they could have kept a lid on it and not expose it to the world too soon. Let them, if it's going to be a comedy, who gives a hoot doggity dog? The movie that they eventually made was, even though the guy that directed it, Ron Howard, it was just like J.J. Abrams. He did the job. It wasn't interesting. It was, at some point, I thought it was just him tap dancing for the corporate people. Make it look like Star Wars, make people try to feel like it's Star Wars. And then at the end of the day, you look at it and you go, oh. I sat through about 40 minutes, and I have a rule. If it can't keep me interested after that, I'm not interested no more. I got through 40 minutes on purpose. It was a rough 40 minutes, and I was done with it. Lando Calrissian, that good actor, bad story plot. I don't understand this in love with machines sexually. I can get it. He was not, and this is not doing any damage to Billy D. Williams. But if you remember, Billy D. Williams was not in the first Star Wars. He come around in Empire Strikes Back, made his conclusion in Return of the Jedi. Didn't have much of a role in the last one. Had a more interesting part in the second one, but it was due to different, like it went up and then it just leveled off like that, and nothing really come of it. They had an opportunity to make this character have real good spice, but they were working with an iconic image. I would have suggested to them right off the top, stop with the machine shit. Don't even go there. He's a smuggler. He's a romancer of women, and leave it at that. Make his appearance in this movie as brief as it was in the originals. He shouldn't be through the whole damn film at all. You're doing him a disservice. His relationship with Han Solo should be based upon that card game that we all know about. Times, that's about it. Through the whole film, couldn't get much of it. It was good actor. He fit the part. He really did. But they wasted a good opportunity. And hello there, Mr. Ellis. What's going on with you? Yeah, so I got a trailer I want to show you. For those that are watching the internet web series, just hold on, be patient. It's gonna happen. I got it sitting right here. I'm gonna turn the camera around. Got to move some stuff, but we got it sitting right up here. Ooh, just give me a second here. I want you guys to enjoy this. I'm working on this still, these 5-minute episodes. And we're going to have a moment here and enjoy this. Here we go. All right. Let's see if we can get this here. Turn it around. Yep, there we go. Let me lift this up here a bit. Okay, so I can control this a little here. Here we go. Well, it looks like we got another sicko. We got another sicko freak on our hands. Oh my God! What is the world coming to, Chief? I don't know. AKA Leatherface. Last seen in the... Don't worry. It's still in production. You know, oh, my connection is unstable. Okay. Sorry about what's going on with the camera moving around and such. I'm sorry about that. It's one of those things where it happens, you know. Try and give you a shot of some stuff to see. Okay, all right, there we go. All right. Okay. Now, that was Hardliner, the internet web series. Speaking of that, I've already started on the second episode writing it. Oh, it's a goodie too. I'll give you a tidbit. Is that a Hardliner is going to tackle a mom and pop criminal team, kind of in the vein of a Big Bad Mama, kind of. If you ever seen that film of the internet art, I mean not internet art film, an independent film from what is his name? He's notorious. He made this film with William Shatner and Angie Dickerson. I remember watching that film years ago. Roger Corman. Enjoyed this man's movies, I tell you. But anyway, I don't want to stay on here too long. It's already about an hour. I've had fun coming on here today, talking about stuff, trying to get a structure together with the RG Studios PromoCon, and I hope I've answered the questions and you got something out of it. But we'll come back and we're going to do this again at some other time. And I hope you enjoy the preview that I had of the Hardliner, the internet web series. Doing live is so much different. You make so many mistakes, and you just got to keep on going. Thank you. Yes, it has. You betcha. And we shall see you again at another time. You guys take care now. You hear? This is RG.